Hi, Studio Recording 3 students. We'll be looking at Lab 1 for Studio Recording 3. And we also call that group and loop because we're learning how to make edit groups and how to loop things to the grid, beat elements. So let's share the screen so you guys can see. And we'll create a Pro Tools session. All right, so that's J's SR1 Lab 1. All right, we'll put it in MAI Labs Drive and in the SR3 weekends. And there we are, we've located and named it. And now what we'd like to do is import the audio. Well, before we import the audio, let's also get it in grid mode here and set our tempo, which is 95. So it's the tempo of the song. And let's import the audio that we have for the class. All right, and this audio is in your drive and it's called group and loop files. You see it's labeled that. So we'll select all these, hit shift there, copy all, open. Okay, so make new tracks for them. So the first thing we want to do is to organize things. So I'll hit option so I can deselect them all. Grab my hooks or the chorus of the song. Trombones are already grouped together in a good spot. So now we want to get all the drum elements and drag them to the left. So I can just hit Apple, and every time I see a drum element, I can drag all those down to the end here. So I have my drums here. Have a synths and organs and keyboards next. Then my, oh, the hooks are in the wrong place now. Here we grab those hooks, get them down to the end. All right, so I got the drums, the keyboards, and then the trombones, then the hooks. So now what I can do is I can, oh, there's a couple organs down there. Let's get them up with the keyboards. All right, let's double check everything's right. Yes, so here's all my drums. So what I can do with the drums now is I can select those, shift, and then I go Apple, G, and make a drum group. Now I can control those. I can solo them. I can mute the drums. So if I just want to hear the drums, I'm grouped. So I can just hear them. Same with the keys, synths, through. Now what I see here is I do have one right there. So that's a drum that should have been in there. Now this is cool. I can go over here now to my drum group, modify, and I can add the sub to it. See how I modify the groups. So you can add things after the fact. So now you see that that is in that group. So if you make a mistake, you can fix it by going to modify over here. All right, so let's make our group for our keyboards. There's Shift, and there's Apple G. And these keys. Then I have my trombones. Apple G there. And then I have the hook. Let's say basically what you want to do here is go to your your edit window now, and see I can select the drums. They're all selected. And we'll notice also, see that's grid thing has to be lit up here to see your grid. It got deselected somehow. But you see how once also this got deselected and my shortcuts weren't working. All right, you see how that goes right to the grid. Now, I can't click except on the grid line. So you see all edits will now lock to the grid. See, I can't click in between those grid marks. That's the 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the measure. So we can go do our new shortcut, which is Option R. That's for looping, for repeat. So let's loop it 11 times to make the song longer. You can see that this loop is only 20 seconds long. Now I have looped the drums in grid mode. I can Option R again, Option R, 11 again. I have looped the keys and Option R. I can loop the trombones. Now we don't want to loop the hook of the song. The hook plays after every verse. So for instance, here we might decide we want the hook not to start the song, but this hook to come in maybe a little after that. So now that we have our groups going on, you see we can turn all these down and we can kind of start a mix. So let's turn up our drums a little. Loud enough, and we know why that is. We know you have to put a compressor on the vocals to get them to jump. So let's do that with our favorite free compressor, and here's a kind of a stock setting for it. I'll grab Option so I can copy it on the other two tracks, and you'll notice all of a sudden the vocals are playing loud. All right, so the point of this exercise is to be able to loop your beat to the grid, and now we want to move the hook around. So I can hit C for copy, and I can see how many bars I want to leave for the vocals. So let's listen. Now see, now it's going to sound better if I start this pattern here. Now you see, you can hear that little piece we want to get out, and we got to go to slip mode to edit that out because that can't be edited in grid mode. Now we go back to grid mode. So you have to toggle between modes to do your editing. So now we can hit C again because the first of this is on the grid. And let's see, let's let them go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and it will drop them in on that grid mark. And then we can do it again. Well, you can see now that they're blown up. So we've laid a song out where there's room for verses here, and then there's the hook comes in. If you want longer verses, then obviously you just paste the hooks in different places. But here you can see that when you get out of, and your groups are over here. So you can like turn your groups on and off. Say if you want to go into a group and turn the well, say if you wanted to mute all the trombones in a certain section, you could Apple M mutes. So you can see. So for instance, you might say, hey, I want to mute the trombones during the verses. Well, all you got to do is that. So you can see here that you can arrange the song up underneath the vocals when you're mixing it. So there's your basic group and loop exercise. So once you've completed this, you will have done your first lab, and we'll explain in class more about grouping and how to edit your groups and such. So, but this is just a quick run through so you guys can go ahead and do this lab. All right, thanks, and see you guys in class.